fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make?
Well, that was then. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, her swan song, at a House hearing at the Benghazi attack back in January. And for a certain congressman who's a major in the Air National Guard, it did make a difference.
One of the first things I was told as a pilot in the military is that your country will never leave you behind. If you find yourself down in enemy lines, rest assured your country will move heaven and earth to come get you. If you find yourself in armed conflict, rest assured your country will do everything in its power to come save you from that armed conflict.
That man has dropped a major bombshell. Congressman Adam Kinzinger of Illinois claims just 2 days after the attack, Clinton screamed at a colleague in Congress when they dared questioning the White House's line that a YouTube video sparked the attack. But wait, didn't she already know in retrospect that it was a terror attack?
Congressman joins us now. Congressman Kinzinger, thanks a lot for coming on this morning.
Yeah.
So just recap the scene. This is right after Benghazi. It's behind closed doors. The Secretary of State, then Hillary Clinton, meeting with members of Congress. Someone suggests it's a terror attack, and she says...
Yeah, basically in a very loud, angry voice says it's irresponsible to even suggest this is a terror attack. This is a YouTube video. We know that there are protests all over, and we need to be very careful in how we're saying this, and basically chided this member of Congress. And it was really to me, you know, I actually sat there in that meeting and believed, well, the Secretary actually believes this is a YouTube video because of how passionately she's arguing it. Now we find out, well, I mean, we knew, but we find out that they knew it the whole time that this was a terror attack, including when it was happening. And, you know, to me, it's as a military member, you know, I'd like to think that my country would never leave me in a bad situation. They tell us that when I went to survival training. And then secondly, if I do happen to die in service to my country, I'd think that my country would not deny me the honor of having died in service in the war on terror versus service in defense of a YouTube video. And in essence, that's where we were leading at the beginning until all the evidence stacked up that they knew from the very beginning this was an organized terror attack.
All right, so now after the investigation conclusions and the hearings, Congressman, are you under the belief that when she told you it's irresponsible to not believe that it was a YouTube video, that she knew all along it was a terror attack? Is that your belief? And that she did not tell you the truth?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you even look at the emails that were exchanged during this, they called it basically a terrorist attack. They knew what was going on. And as was famously said by Senator McCain, you don't bring, you know, mortars to a YouTube video demonstration. This was planned for a very long time. They knew it. And for whatever reason, they wanted to say at the end this was not an act of terror. This was just a spontaneous demonstration. And it's irresponsible.
So do you think that reason might be related to the fact there was a presidential campaign in progress, the final stretch of a presidential campaign, and the president wanted people to believe that he had al-Qaeda under control?
Yeah, it's absolutely right. I mean, the whole theory was, hey, we're getting out of Iraq, we're getting out of Afghanistan. You know, al-Qaeda might have chosen the beginning of this war, but we've chosen the ending, and it happens to be a couple months before the election. And what we've seen is when America retreats from the world and its leadership retreats from the world, chaos fills that vacuum. And the president didn't want to admit it. He didn't want to say it. He was more interested in getting through November. That's my belief.
Were there other people, other lawmakers in that room? And if so, why are you the only one to come forward with this?
Well, there were a lot of lawmakers in that room. In fact, I'd say most of them. I actually think a while ago I've heard people say that happened. It's just the mainstream media never picked up on it, and it's not until I mentioned this at a town hall meeting that people really opened their eyes and said, okay, now we know that, in fact, they knew it was a terrorist attack, and this was the case. I mean, I don't care about the yelling so much. She yelled, but I care more about the fact that this was a terrorist attack, and a member of Congress who has a right to know this and ask these questions was chided for even saying what we eventually found out is the truth.
So that's for certain. So who was this member of Congress she barked at?
I don't want to say it because it was behind closed doors. I'll let the member come forward themselves. But I will say there were plenty of witnesses to this. And again, this was just really a shame and a sad thing to happen.
Still serving in the House, still serving the country in the military. Congressman Kinzinger, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
It was great being here. Thank you.
Maybe we'll finally get